you'd expect a wherefore art thou or something. Zero. Fucking zero. 15 federal agencies knew from the beginning of the pandemic. There are certain stories where, because of the biases of that network, of Fox News, of CNN, that's the network that might actually have the information. And the same goes for, in this case, Rand Paul. Okay. I am not a Rand Paul fan. He is a libertarian, which means he wants corporations to actually run more wild. He thinks corporations are being held back.
We have no business asking the PGA about their negotiations or what they might do or what they might do. It's not the business of government.
And if you just let them loose, then we'd really have some fun. Just one point of why Rand Paul is garbage, but he's come up with something important on this topic. It just came out yesterday, the great COVID cover-up, shocking truth about Wuhan and the 15 federal agencies. And I will admit that when the pandemic first started, Trump was in office, right? This is one of the few things I got wrong, okay? I've gotten almost nothing wrong. Basically because I just look at the motivations. You just look at who's corrupt, what their goals are, and that's where the U.S. empire is always going to go after greed and war. And you just look at those type of things, and you can analyze just about everything and find out, you can know the U.S. blew up the Nord Stream pipeline. You can know those things before the evidence comes out. And almost always that works. This was one case where, and I'm not saying I got it all wrong, but the one thing I got wrong was I did make fun of Trump's lab leak theory, because it seemed very much, first of all, he came out with it before we had information. And it seemed very much like Trump just hates China. And so Trump was just like, China did it. We're sick and China did it. That to me just stank of bullshit, because how could Trump know that quickly? And then he just hates China, so he's going after China. While it does seem rather likely that the lab leak is true, what we weren't told by Trump and others at the time is that it was connected to the U.S. The U.S. was funding. The U.S. had scientists there. This was a U.S.-China partnership in Wuhan. So while Trump was saying, dirty, dirty China, oh, they're so dirty, oh, I hate them. While he was doing that, it actually is heavily connected to the United States. And actually, that's what this reveals. So this was actually, even though it's a Fox News article, it's actually written by Rand Paul. How vast was the COVID cover-up? Well, my investigation has recently discovered government officials from 15 federal agencies knew in 2018 that the Wuhan Institute of Virology was trying to create a coronavirus-like COVID-19. There's 15 federal agencies, U.S. federal agencies, knew they were working with folks, scientists in China, to create a COVID-19-like virus. These officials knew that the Chinese lab was proposing to create a COVID-19-like virus, and not one of these officials revealed this scheme to the public. In fact, 15 agencies with knowledge of this project have continuously refused to release any information concerning this alarming and dangerous research. Government officials representing at least 15 federal agencies were briefed on a project proposed by Peter Daszak's Eco Health Alliance and the Wuhan Institute of Virology. The project was called the Tues Project, proposed to insert a furin cleavage site into a coronavirus to create a novel chimeric virus that would have been shockingly similar to the COVID-19 virus. Before I keep going, something else this upends is this doesn't mean that all of the, COVID theories or COVID garbage that people have put out is true. In fact, a lot of people said COVID was not a thing or it was fake. Well, this is the opposite. This is saying it's very real, but it was likely created in a lab by a U.S.-China alliance and then leaked from that lab. Under duress, the administration finally released documents that show that the Tues project was pitched to at least 15 agencies in January 2018. It means that at least 15 federal agencies knew from the beginning of the pandemic that Eco Health Alliance and the Wuhan Institute of Virology were seeking federal funding in 2018 to create a virus genetically very similar, if not identical, to COVID-19. Wow, what a coinky-dink. They tell all of these U.S. agencies, we want to create a COVID-19 type strain that would be more easily shared and more infectious between people. And well, then that happened. And it had nothing to do with the two had nothing to do with each other, right? Disturbingly, not one of these 15 agencies spoke up to warn us that the Wuhan Institute of Virology had been pitching this research. Not one of these agencies warned anyone that this Chinese lab had already put together plans to create such a virus. Not surprising to some of us, Dr. Anthony Fauci's National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases was not only briefed on Wuhan's desire to create this virus, NIAID was actually listed as a participant in the initial diffuse pitch. So this National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases was part of the pitch to these federal agencies. Fauci's Rocky Mountain Lab was named as a partner alongside the Wuhan Institute of Virology in the proposal. These documents also reveal that a scientist whose lab has received millions of dollars from EcoHealth was also part of the original plan to create these chimeric coronaviruses. He's getting this information from documents that they've eventually revealed that the government would not reveal to him over the past, 4 years? And finally, they've revealed some of them. And it shows that they were pitched this idea. And, again, it's all just a coincidence. There is no connection between COVID killing millions around the world and the fact that the idea for COVID was pitched to 15 government agencies with the help of Fauci's organization, and they wanted to create COVID-19. And by the way, in case you think this is just Fox News making shite up, this is from CNN and the U.S. Energy Department. U.S. Energy Department assesses COVID-19 likely resulted from a lab leak. And this is from February of 2023, a year ago. I think I covered this a year ago. Again, this is all coinky dink. There is no connection between the Wuhan lab that was U.S. connected and U.S. funded, the pitching to 15 U.S. government agencies, and the U.S. Department of Energy saying it's a lab leak, and the fact that COVID-19 happened. It's just what the weird coincidence. Look, infinite number of monkeys gonna type Shakespeare, okay? Which I don't think is actually true, because I've had 12 monkeys once in a room with typewriters. And I type shit. And I get 12 is not infinite. But you'd expect like a couple of words, right? You'd expect a wherefore art thou or something. Zero. Fucking zero. All right? Not even a rose by any other name. Zero. Okay? I know it was only 12. It was not infinite. But with 12, if you're going to get Shakespeare with infinite, you're going to get a couple of sentences with 12. Okay?